March 11th, 1874. Indianola, Texas. The docks. A steamboat prepares to depart for New Orleans. Passengers board. Cargo is loaded. It's a routine departure on a sunny afternoon. Among the passengers, William Sutton, 32 years old, former lawman. Some say hero, others say murderer. Depends who you ask in DeWitt County. Sutton's traveling with his young wife, Laura. They're leaving Texas. Finally, after years of violence, after dozens of deaths, after a war that's torn South Texas apart. Sutton thinks he's escaped, thinks he's finally safe. He's wrong. Two men walk up the gangplank. Calmly, deliberately. They're armed. Everyone in Texas is armed. No one thinks anything of it. Until they draw their pistols and open fire on William Sutton at point-blank range. The shots echo across the harbor. Sutton falls, hits the deck hard. Blood spreads across the wooden planks. His wife screams. The two gunmen don't run. They just stand there, smoking pistols in hand, making sure everyone sees their faces. Wants everyone to know who did this. Jim Taylor, younger brother of the slain Hayes Taylor, and Bill Taylor, Creed Taylor's son. The Taylor boys, finishing what their family started years ago. William Sutton dies on that dock, in front of his wife, in front of witnesses, in broad daylight. And no one stops the Taylors from walking away. Because in South Texas in 1874, everyone knows this is the Sutton-Taylor feud. And the law can't stop it. The Rangers can't stop it. Nothing can stop it but blood. This is the story of the bloodiest feud in Texas history. A war that lasted a decade, killed at least 40 people, possibly twice that. A conflict that pulled in hundreds, that turned neighbors into executioners, that made widows and orphans across half a dozen counties. This is the story of how Texas tore itself apart, and how the violence became so normal, so expected that people just lived with it. The Sutton-Taylor feud, where every death demanded another death, where justice was a gun, where the frontier ate itself alive. To understand how it got this bad, you have to understand Texas in the 1860s and early 1870s. The Civil War has ended. The Confederacy lost. Texas is under Reconstruction, Union military occupation, federal troops enforcing federal law, and many Texans hate it. DeWitt County, Goliad County, the surrounding region of South Texas. This is ranching country, cattle country, and it's chaos. The old power structures have collapsed. The Confederate veterans who ran things before the war, they've lost authority. Many are disenfranchised, can't vote, can't hold office. In their place, a new class of lawmen, Texas State Police, established by the Reconstruction government. Many are Union loyalists, some are former slaves or freedmen, and most white Texans view them with contempt, suspicion, and outright hatred. Into this powder keg come two families, the Taylors and the Suttons. The Taylors, old Texas stock, Creed Taylor and his sons. They've been in Texas since before the Revolution, fought at San Jacinto, fought Comanche, carved out ranches in the wilderness. They're what Texans call old settlers. Proud, independent, Confederate veterans, men who bow to no authority but their own. The Taylor family is large, well-connected, respected by their community, and they do not accept Reconstruction. They see the state police as occupiers, tyrants, illegitimate. The Suttons, newer arrivals. William Sutton is the leader, though his family has allies and connections. Sutton fought for the Confederacy, too. Confusingly, both factions have Confederate veterans, but after the war, he joins the Texas State Police. This is the original sin in the eyes of the Taylors and their allies. Sutton is working for the Reconstruction government, the occupiers, for the enemy. But Sutton sees it differently. There's no law in DeWitt County. Cattle rustling is rampant. Murders go unsolved. Someone has to establish order. If that means working with the state police, so be it. The two factions eye each other with suspicion. Accusations fly. The Taylors are accused of cattle theft. The Suttons are accused of corruption, of using their badges to settle personal scores. Both accusations are probably true, because in South Texas in 1868, the line between law and criminality has completely dissolved. And then, the violence starts. August 1868. Christmas Buck Taylor, one of Creed Taylor's nephews, is riding near Bastrop. He's ambushed, shot multiple times, left for dead on the road. He survives, barely. The wounds are serious. He'll carry the scars for life. Who shot him? Buck believes it was men allied with William Sutton. State police or their sympathizers, targeting him because he's a Taylor, because he's been accused, rightly or wrongly, of cattle rustling. The Taylor family is outraged. Their kinsman was ambushed, nearly killed, and the authorities do nothing. No arrests, no investigation, because the authorities are the ones who ordered it. That's what the Taylors believe, and belief becomes reality on the frontier. Creed Taylor, the family patriarch, counsels restraint, officially, publicly, but privately. The message is clear. This will not stand. The Taylors will have their reckoning. 1869. More ambushes, more shootings. Men from both factions are targeted. Some survive, some don't. Bodies start appearing on back roads. Shot, stripped, left for the buzzards. No one's arrested, because everyone knows who's doing it. And no one wants to be the lawman who steps between these families. Then, December 1870, the violence escalates. A man named Kelly, associated with the Suttons, is killed near Clinton, shot from ambush. His body is found days later. The Suttons blame the Taylors. Of course they do. The Taylors deny it. Of course they deny it. But the accusation is enough, because now the Suttons have a justification. A dead man to avenge. Permission in their minds to strike back. And William Sutton knows exactly who to target. December 27th, 1870. Bastrop, Texas. A saloon. Evening. Christmas Buck. Taylor's having a drink. He's wary. Always wary. He's been shot before. He knows the Suttons want him dead. But this is a public place. Crowded. Surely he's safe here. He's not. William Sutton and two of his deputies, Jack Helm and another man, walk into the saloon. Deliberately. Purposefully. They're not here for drinks. They spot Buck Taylor. Walk directly toward him. Hands on their pistols. Taylor sees them coming. Knows what's about to happen. Goes for his gun. Too slow. Sutton and his men open fire. Point blank. In a crowded saloon. They pump multiple shots into Buck Taylor. He falls. Tries to crawl. They keep shooting. Execution style. When the smoke clears, Buck Taylor is dead. Sutton and his men holster their pistols. Walk out. Claim self-defense. Claim Taylor went for his gun first. Claim they were enforcing the law. Maybe Taylor did go for his gun. But it doesn't matter. Because everyone knows this was murder, an assassination. A state police officer executed a man in a public saloon. And now, the Taylor family has no choice. No restraint. No waiting for justice that will never come. Creed Taylor's old, but his sons aren't. His nephews aren't. And they all know what has to be done. Blood demands blood. The only law that matters on the Texas frontier. The feud explodes. 1871, 1873. South Texas becomes a war zone. The violence spreads like wildfire. It's not just Taylors versus Suttons anymore. It's families, friends, business partners, political allies. Everyone is pulled in. Everyone has to choose a side. If you're you're associated with the Taylors, the Suttons will kill you. If you're associated with the Suttons, the Taylors will kill you. If you try to stay neutral, both sides view you with suspicion. The body count rises. April 1st, 1871. Two Taylor allies, Henry and Will Kelly, are ambushed and killed by Sutton men near Sweet Home. Their bodies are left in the road. A message. March 1872. Jack Helm, the notorious Texas State Police captain and Sutton enforcer, leads a raid on suspected Taylor sympathizers. Several men are arrested. One is found dead days later, shot while escaping. Jack Helm is a monster. Even by the standards of this feud, he's extreme. He uses his badge to legalize murder, arrests Taylor supporters, and they mysteriously die in custody. He's feared across the region. The Taylors want him dead more than anyone except Sutton himself. May 1873. A Taylor ally named Cute Tuggle is arrested by Helm's men, taken into custody. His body is found the next day, shot multiple times. Resisting arrest. The pattern is clear. Helm is using the state police to systematically eliminate Taylor supporters and getting away with it because he wears a badge. But the Taylors aren't helpless. They strike back. Hard. July 1873. Jim Taylor and John Wesley Hardin. Yes, that John Wesley Hardin, the legendary gunfighter. Taylors track Jack Helm to a blacksmith shop near Albuquerque, Texas. Helm's inside, getting his horse shod. He's armed, but he's relaxed. Doesn't see them coming. Taylor and Hardin walk in. Helm recognizes them immediately. Goes for his gun. Too late. They open fire. Shotguns at close range. Helm is hit multiple times. Falls. Taylor walks up and delivers the final shot. Point blank. To the head. Jack Helm, the most feared lawman in South Texas, is dead. Killed by the men he's been hunting for years. The Taylors celebrate. One of their most dangerous enemies is gone. But the Suttons aren't finished. Not even close. The violence reaches its peak in the town of Cuero, DeWitt County seat, the symbolic heart of this conflict. Both factions operate in Cuero. Sutton supporters control much of the law enforcement and political structure. Taylor supporters live in the countryside but come to town for supplies, court dates, business. Every encounter is tense. Every meeting is a potential gunfight. The town lives in perpetual fear. April 1873. A Taylor supporter named Jim Cox is killed on the streets of Cuero. Broad daylight. Shot by a Sutton man who claims self-defense. No arrest. August 1873. A Sutton ally is found dead on a road outside town. Ambushed. Killed from hiding. Taylor revenge. The cycle continues. Each death demands another death. Each killing justified by the previous one. The courthouse becomes a battlefield. Men come armed to legal proceedings. Testimony is given with pistols on the table. Judges are terrified. Juries are intimidated. Witnesses disappear. Justice is impossible. The courts can't function. The law is whatever the man with the gun says it is. And the Texas Rangers? They try to intervene multiple times, but they're outnumbered, outgunned, and frankly, many Rangers sympathize with one side or the other. Neutrality is a myth. Some Rangers try anyway. Captain Leander McNelly leads a Ranger company into the region. His reputation is fearsome. He's known for harsh justice, for not tolerating lawlessness. But even McNelly is overwhelmed. The feud is too big, too entrenched, too many people involved. He arrests some men. They're released by sympathetic judges or rescued by armed mobs. He threatens others. They laugh at him. McNelly realizes something chilling. This feud has replaced the law. It is the law now. And stopping it might require killing everyone involved. He can't do that. Won't do that. So he withdraws. Focuses on other priorities. The Sutton-Taylor feud continues unchecked. March 11th, 1874. We return to where we started, Indianola, the docks. William Sutton boarding a steamboat with his wife. Sutton knows the danger. He's been warned. The Taylors have sworn to kill him. He's survived multiple attempts, but he's tired of running, tired of looking over his shoulder. So he's leaving, going to New Orleans, maybe from there to Kansas, somewhere beyond the Taylors' reach, somewhere he can start over. Jim Taylor and Bill Taylor have other plans. They've been tracking Sutton for weeks, waiting for the right moment, and now, on the Indianola docks, surrounded by witnesses, they have him. They walk up the gangplank. Sutton sees them. His hand goes to his pistol, but he hesitates. His wife is next to him. Innocent bystanders everywhere. The Taylors don't hesitate. They draw and fire. Multiple shots. Sutton is hit in the chest, the neck. He collapses. Blood pools on the deck. Laura Sutton screams, throws herself over her husband's body, begs the Taylors not to shoot again. They don't. They've made their point. William Sutton, the man who started this war by killing Buck Taylor, is dead. The score is settled for now. The Taylors holster their weapons, turn, walk off the boat, down the gangplank, through the crowd. No one stops them. No one tries. Later, they'll be arrested, tried, and acquitted, because the jury is sympathetic. Because everyone in South Texas understands this was a feud killing. This was justice. Frontier justice. The only kind that matters. William Sutton is buried in Indianola. His wife returns to her family, a widow at 24. And the Sutton-Taylor feud doesn't end, because killing the leaders doesn't end feuds. It just creates new leaders, new reasons for revenge. December the 27th, 1875. Exactly 5 years after Buck Taylor's murder. Clinton, Texas. Jim Taylor's in town, the man who killed William Sutton. He's careful, always armed, always watching. But 5 years of constant vigilance wears on a man. He's walking down the street, heading to a store, and he doesn't notice the men following him. Sutton allies, relatives of William Sutton, men who've waited years for this moment. They call out his name. Jim Taylor, he turns, sees the guns, goes for his own. Too slow. Again, too slow. They fire. Multiple shooters. Jim Taylor is hit repeatedly, falls, dies in the street, in Clinton, where so much of this feud's blood has been spilled. The Sutton faction has their revenge. The man who killed their leader is dead. The score is even. Maybe. Possibly. If anyone's still counting. But the feud doesn't end with Jim Taylor's death either. It just fades, slowly, over the next few years. The Reconstruction government collapses. The state police are disbanded. Federal troops withdraw. The old power structures reassert themselves. And gradually, exhaustedly, South Texas moves on. New conflicts emerge. New feuds. New reasons to kill. But the Sutton-Taylor feud, specifically, runs out of energy. Too many dead. Too many widows. Too many orphans. Even the most committed participants grow tired. Grow old. Die of natural causes, surprisingly. By 1880, the active shooting has mostly stopped. By 1890, the feud is history. Old men tell stories about it. Young people hear the names Sutton and Taylor and remember vaguely that there was bad blood. But the specifics fade. The reasons blur. The dead become statistics, and Texas pretends it never happened. How many died in the Sutton-Taylor feud? The official count? At least 40. But that's only the confirmed killings. The ones with names, records, witnesses. The real number? Probably twice that. Maybe more. Because in South Texas in the 1870s, bodies turned up all the time. Shot, abandoned, identified or not. and not all of them made it into official records. Ambush victims on back roads, men who disappeared and were never found, executions disguised as legal shootings, bystanders caught in crossfire, women and children who died from the stress, the poverty, the violence that shattered their families. If you count all of that, and you should, the Sutton-Taylor feud probably killed 100 people, directly or indirectly. Over 10 years, in a handful of South Texas counties. It's the bloodiest feud in Texas history, possibly in American history. More deadly than the Hatfields McCoy feud in Appalachia. More sustained than the Lincoln County War in New Mexico. And yet most Texans have never heard of it. Why? Because it doesn't fit the mythology. There are no heroes here, no good guys, just men killing men. Families destroying families. A decade of pointless, cyclical violence that accomplished nothing. It's embarrassing, uncomfortable. So Texas mostly forgot about it. Let it fade into obscurity. The Alamo gets monuments. The Sutton-Taylor feud gets silenced. But the impact was real. The feud shaped South Texas for generations. Families that were on opposite sides still don't intermarry. Property disputes from the feud era still resurface in legal battles. The trauma passed down, and it changed how Texas approached law enforcement. The state police were disbanded partly because they failed to stop the feud. The Texas Rangers were reformed, professionalized, given more authority specifically to prevent another Sutton-Taylor situation. So in a dark way, the feud mattered. It forced Texas to confront the reality that vigilante justice doesn't work, that feuds spiral out of control, that the frontier myth of men settling their own disputes inevitably leads to mass death. The lesson was learned in blood. Today, if you drive through DeWitt County, Goliad County, the small towns where the feud raged, you'll find historical markers. A few, discreet. They mention the difficulties of the 1870s, the troubles, euphemisms. They don't tell the full story. Don't name all the dead. Don't describe the horror of a decade where neighbors killed neighbors, where law collapsed, where violence became normal. In the Cuero cemetery, some gravestones mark feud victims. Killed 1873. Murdered 1874. No other details, just the dates, as if the how and why are too painful to write down. William Sutton's grave is in Indianola, or was. The town was destroyed by hurricanes in the 1880s, abandoned. His grave is likely lost, swallowed by the Gulf. Fitting perhaps, a man who died violently, erased by nature. Jim Taylor is buried in Clinton. His grave still exists, maintained by descendants who know the name, but maybe not the full story. Just that great-great-grandfather Jim was killed in a feud. Footnote: the Sutton-Taylor feud is a ghost now, a historical curiosity, a footnote in Texas history, books that focus on more palatable stories. But it happened. It was real. And it reveals something about Texas that's hard to acknowledge. The frontier was not romantic. It was brutal. The Wild West was wild because law couldn't keep up with violence. Because feuds like this were possible. Because men could kill with impunity as long as they had enough friends. The Sutton-Taylor feud is a mirror, and what it reflects is ugly, but necessary to see. Because if we only remember the Alamo, if we only celebrate the Rangers and the cattle drives and the frontier heroes, we're lying to ourselves. We're pretending Texas was built on noble principles and brave deeds. The truth is messier. Texas was built on blood, on feuds, on violence that went unchecked until it burned itself out. The Sutton-Taylor feud is part of that truth. A decade of death. 40 confirmed dead. Probably twice that. families destroyed, communities traumatized, all because two men couldn't share one county, because revenge became a way of life, because the cycle of violence, once started, couldn't be stopped. It's a story without heroes, without redemption, without meaning beyond the lesson. This is what happens when we abandon law for vengeance, when we let grievance become identity, when we choose blood over peace. The frontier closed, the feud ended, Texas moved on, but the graves remain. And if you listen closely in DeWitt County on quiet nights, they say you can still hear them, the ghosts of the feud, calling out names, demanding satisfaction, trapped forever in a cycle that has no end. Maybe they're still there, still fighting, still dying, over and over, in the place between history and memory. Or maybe that's just the wind, the coyotes, the imagination of a guilty state. Either way, the Sutton-Taylor feud haunts Texas, whether we remember it or not. Thanks for watching Texas Tales. This was the bloodiest story we've ever told. A feud that killed at least 40 people. Possibly twice that. A decade of violence that Texas mostly chose to forget. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe. We tell the stories Texas doesn't always want to remember. The dark ones, the violent ones, the truths buried in unmarked graves. Drop a comment. Had you heard of the Sutton-Taylor feud before? Why do you think Texas forgot about it? And what other forgotten feuds and conflicts should we cover? This is Texas Tales, where we dig up the past, even when it's covered in blood. Until next time, y'all. Remember, the frontier wasn't won, it was survived, and not everyone made it. Take care.